This is a demonstration of batch geocoding in Excel with road-centric data. We're going to do this with a product called LocateXL from PrimeThought Software Solutions. First, we're going to make sure that we've installed the product LocateXL and Spatial Exile, and how to do this is fully described in a video called How to Install and License LocateXL and Spatial Exile, also available on YouTube. Next, I'm going to load my Geocode data file. This file you will receive from PrimeThought Software Solutions when you purchase a product, and it's made up of base data received from our mapping partners Map IT or Map Integrated Technologies, and also from another provider that provides postal code information to us. As you can see here, we are loading streets currently in this particular data set. Alright, all the geocode data is now loaded, so we can start the process of geocoding shortly. Just to show you how the settings work, in the geocode data file there is already settings included. There's a road that carries a weight of 20, which is the road name, and there's different weights for each one of these. Suburb, town and province carries a weight of 10 each. The SoundX weight means that if something is slightly misspelled, it can achieve a maximum score of one of these for this particular category for these items. So if a road name is slightly misspelled, it can achieve a maximum score of 15 in the category where a correctly spelled name could have a weight of 20. If you wanted to change any of these settings, for instance, I think my POI SoundX weight is a little bit high, I'd like it rather to be a maximum of 7, I can now close this and save this as a custom data file and call it whatever I wanted to call it. And now in future I can open my custom data file and it will then have the exact same settings that I've set up before. I've set up 2 previous custom data files already, one for good matches on town names if there's very bad street names, and one for good matches on road names as well. So now I'm going to open my spreadsheet of the data I'd like to geocode. And here's my data, and I'm going to choose my address columns. Road will be new street address. Just so you know, postal codes will only geocode to the postal code if it says PO Box in the street address field. Then it will use the coordinates in the data set for these particular postal codes. Alright, I'm ready to do the geocoding, and I'm simply going to say locate all. You can also select specific rows in here and say locate selected. We're all using strategy, which means because the data is very well broken up into street, suburb, town and province, we make use of the current structure of the data. If the data was mixed up or one long string for an address, you could then use unstructured geocoding to do your geocoding. The geocoding has now completed, and if we look at the results, it's comparing the names, the street names especially, we can see that the results are pretty good. And let's have a look at our results to understand what we're working with. The geocode road is the road that it actually geocoded to. The geocode number is the actual street number, if there was a street number. Some of the streets in smaller towns don't have street numbers. This is the extension, which could be street, avenue, etc. And then the suburb, town and province. If you look at the geocode status, you can see whether it geocoded to postal code, which is P, S for street name, N for the actual number in the street, and then you get other codes as well, such as 0 for suburb and 1 for town, and also F for failed. So if a geocode fails completely, it will say F. The minimum score will also determine when things fail. The higher the minimum score is, the more likely you will have more fails. So you have to tweak this very exactly for the best possible results. The lower the score is, the less valuable the results might be. So in this case 20 just gave us a very, very good match all round. This is the geocode confidence, which is a percentage of the score which is in this field. So this is a total of 30 out of 57, 52 out of 57 and so on, and then that is expressed as a percentage in here for each record. And of course you get your X and Y location when you do the geocoding. To see specific details of a geocode, let's have a look down and see if there's a field that we might be able to get a better result on. For instance, this record here, Duxbury Santon, located to River Club extension 16 in Santon, and we can see if there were any other matches that we might have been able to choose. So get detailed location info at Karen Row on your context menu. We'll bring up all the possible matches that it found with the scoring that applies. And here we can see there's River Club, Morningside, and then there's even some with numbers. So let's for instance say that we know that that particular record is not in River Club, but the address is actually Morningside. You can simply go onto one of these lines and right click and say choose, and it will change this record details to be Morningside. So you can now view detailed information and choose from the result to get a better result for a particular record. What we can now also do is we can look at a particular record in Spatial Exile, which is the mapping background that we can bring in. I'm going to show Spatial Pane. Now I'm going to first just set my scene projection so that it is correct for the map data we're going to work with. And we're going to choose WG is 1984 and click on use and say OK, and now my scene projection is correct. Next I want to load Bing Maps as a background to this data. My crosshairs. And I do that in my scene properties. You can also set the crosshair thickness and the crosshair color over here. And there I can see the exact center of my screen. Now we can go to any geocoded column and we can simply click on it. And there's a context menu that says LocateXL, zoom to current row on map. That's off your screen at the moment, so I'll do it with a ribbon. So I'm on this row and I go zoom on map and bring up my map. So I turn off this. And there's the street that I've located to. I can click in the middle of my map and zoom out very slightly by rolling back my mouse wheel. And there you can see Elizabeth Avenue. Let's do another one. There you go. Now we can see my menu. Zoom to current row on map. And there's the location of that record. I'm going to turn my crosshair off again. You can also locate all your results on your map by right-clicking, going to Spatial Exile and saying Add Layer. You can also do that from Add Excel Layer on your ribbon, your Spatial Excel ribbon. And then by bringing up the map. And now we can choose our styling for that particular layer. I'm just going to take the default styling. And here's all my data now located on my South African map in Bing Maps, and I can zoom into my geolocated records. You can turn on thematic colorings on this data, turn on labels, do various things with this data, and all of that is described in the Spatial Excel help documentation or the videos on thematics in YouTube on Spatial Excel. Thank you very much.